Wow, everyone, thank you for joining Proclamation News and Gatherance. This time, introduce. Really appreciate the loyal listeners coming through time and time again. We're going to get bigger and better. Over the next week or so, we're going to be hitting every single network. Things, thousands of people come through, thousands of people subscribing. I've been speaking to a media professionalist which combines all the channels into one. So that'd be absolute phenomenal. We have I know maybe 1,000 listeners in one sitting. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Thank you ever so much for tuning in today. We've got the weather updates, Boris Johnson updates, more family updates, Holly Willoughby, a bit of like show business. Holly Willoughby sort of changed from being like a show business kind of person to she's quite a sophisticated woman now, isn't she? She comes across quite a sophisticated woman, very elegant. Thank you all for coming in. Appreciate it. Muchly appreciated. Believe me. The weather for the coming week, ladies and gents. What is the weather for the coming week? Don't forget, we've got May the 6th election. Not long now. The weather today is 9 degrees Fahrenheit. 9 degrees Celsius, sorry, in Culture constituency. Tuesday and Wednesday were 12 degrees. Thursday and Friday is about 11 and 12, and Saturday 11. I thought we was getting a bit of a heat surge coming through, but we haven't. We'll see what's going on with the atmospheric pressure in the North Pole. The ice is breaking. Is that due down to global warming? That's what they reckon. The scientists reckon it's due to global warming. The iceberg has moved. Iceberg has moved in the North Pole. Today's weather in London is 12 degrees Celsius. Tuesday is 15 degrees. Wednesday is 13, slight chance of rain. Thursday and Friday is 12 and 13 and 12 degrees in Edinburgh. Edinburgh, Scotland. Weather today is 12 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday is 9 degrees Celsius. Saturday is 10 degrees Celsius. Scotland is looking cold up north. In Belfast, in Ireland, Northern Ireland, 16 degrees Celsius today. Tomorrow and Wednesday is 11. Thursday and Friday is 10 degrees Celsius, and Saturday is 12 degrees Celsius. Cardiff in Wales, 11 degrees Celsius today, 13 and 10 degrees Celsius, 13 degrees Tuesday, 10 degrees Wednesday, Thursday and Friday is 11 degrees, and Saturday is 12 degrees Celsius. Birmingham. Weather forecast in Birmingham, 11 degrees Celsius today. Tomorrow and Wednesday is 13 and 11 on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday is 10 degrees. Thursday and Friday is 12, and Saturday is 12. Up in Manchester. Today is 13 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow and Wednesday, 12 and 11 on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday. Thursday is 10 and Friday is 11. That's in Manchester. Glasgow, Scotland. That's today. Tuesday is 10. Wednesday is 11. Thursday is 12. And so is Thursday and Friday is 10. And Saturday is 11 degrees Celsius. Thank you all for listening in. The weather forecast updates for the coming weeks. I'll still wrap up warmer for you guys. Don't overcompensate the weather. Absolutely not. Listen to the revamp of Boris Johnson's been in the headlines just recently. Boris Johnson says any flat revamp donations will be declared. Prime Minister is under pressure to explain how works the official residents were paid for, following claims for his former top advisor. Dominic Cummings has alleged the PM once planned to have donors secretly pay for the revamp. Defence Secretary has said Mr Johnson personally paid the bill. Speaking earlier, Ben Wallace added that Mr Johnson had covered the costs from his own money and complied with the rules at all times. Labour has called on the Electoral Commission, which regulates political donations in the UK, to launch a formal investigation. The watchdog has said it is talking to the Conservative Party about whether the spending of the flat within its remit. The claims about the flat are contained in a blog posted by Mr Cummings on Friday, his first since leaving his role in number 10 in the blog. He also denied leaking text messages sent between Mr Johnson and businessman Sir James Dyson. Denied leaking details of November 2nd coronavirus lockdown in England. Alleged Mr Johnson had considered trying to block an inquiry into leaking in case it involved a friend of his fiancée Carrie Symonds. Asked on Monday whether he had ever discussed using donations to pay for refurbishments, Mr Johnson has then replied, "If there's anything to be said about it, any declaration to be made, that will of course be made in due course." UK's most senior civil servant, Cabinet Secretary Simon Case, is expected to face questions about Mr Cummings' allegations when he appears before MPs later. Appearing before a committee of MPs at 2:15, Mr Case is expected to say the inquiry into legal plans for second lockdown is ongoing. Downing Street says the Prime Minister has never interfered in a government legal inquiry. Like several of his recent predecessors, the Prime Minister is living in the flat above number 11 Downing Street, which is larger than above number 10. Let's see what's going on Downing Street. Thank you all so much for coming through. Downing Street refurbishment. What is the row of Boris Johnson's flat? Exactly what we were just talking about. In Essex. Thank you all for coming through. Please share, please subscribe. All you YouTube listeners, I really appreciate you through, and my Castbox listeners. Thank you ever so much. Man charged with murder after death of father of two in Surrey. A man has appeared in court charged with murder of a father of two died after being struck by a BMW in Surrey. Sham Mia spoke only to confirm his name, address and age when he appeared briefly before Guildford Magistrates Court this morning. Mr Mear was told by Magistrate John Elford that due to the murder charge, he is to remand him in custody awaiting trial. He was 49, known locally in Walton Upton time as Tick. In a white 1 Series BMW near Markle Spencer's store on Thursday, Mr Teston a altercation between a group of men, which resulted in one of them getting into the car and driving, and two of the others were severely hit by the car and suffered serious injuries, but is expected to recover after being airlifted to hospital. Was in place behind the nearby Church Street Marks and Spencer store, which remained open while the car park was closed on Thursday. While initial reports suggest the incident took place in the store's car park, police later confirmed it actually happened in nearby public. Absolute provocation, eh? Absolute provocation. Detective Chief Inspector David Springer, who is leading the investigation, would urge you to do so. A local man has sadly lost his life, and our thoughts are very much with his family, who are being supported by specialist officers at this time. He's added, "We are particularly interested in speaking to anyone who may have seen the white Series BMW in the area during the immediate period beforehand or afterwards, as it left the scene on Church Street at around 2 p.m, driving towards the High Street." Thank you all for coming through. I'll put a little note there for you, loyal supporters, loyal listeners. It means a lot, hell of a lot for me if you keep supporting my show. It really does. Thank you ever so much. If you want to leave a comment in the comment section, please feel free to do so. There's been some reports speculating about the vote rate, but initial inquiries do not support this, and it is believed some of the parties were previously known to each other, he said. Mr. Tesla's family described him as a much-loved son, husband, father, brother, uncle and friend to so many over the weekend. His brother, who asked not to be named, told the Daily Mail, "This tragedy has absolutely rocked the family, who have been devastated by Tick's death. The hurt and sadness we felt over the past few days simply cannot be fully quantified, and something no one should ever experience." Tick's daughter told the paper, "Dad taught me how to live. Our favourite thing was just to laugh, because even in the darkest time, we did together," she said. That is such a tragic loss, isn't it? You know, people not taking safety precautions while they're driving. Absolutely. Holly Willoughby accuses line of duty star of pulling wool over their eyes, after trying to pull the wool over their eyes, after denying that she had noticed her character, DCS Patricia Carmichael, of tapping her pen 4 times during yesterday's episode. But Phil wasn't having any of it, as he sarcastically replied, "Yeah, yeah, you're such a brilliant actress. You could be pulling the wool over eyes." Holly pointed out Anna was also questioned on how she came up with her character's personality. "I got the script a long time ago, and I don't think I thought much about it until I got there," she said. "She was a bit nasty, and I went through it, and now she's more mortified into a horror show." However, Anna insisted that she felt her character was misunderstood and insecure. "She misunderstood and she's trying to do her job," Anna replied. "She probably needs a nice cuddle." This morning's viewers also noticed Anna's constant laughing throughout the interview, as she claimed she couldn't remember, which most attributed to her being nervous that she could accidentally give away a spoiler. One fan tweeted, "I think Anna's petrified about letting something slip. That's why she's laughing so much," while another commented, "Anna Maxwell Martin is on this morning. She's just laughing through the entire interview and giving nothing away." The third row, Anna Maxwell Martin laughter is so infectious, and the antipathy of the Carmichael on this morning's line of duty. So, you know, people driving at the wheel also, you know, mens rea habilitations, getting in the vehicle, maybe under the influence of alcohol and narcotics, or sleep deprivation. We don't know, or maybe texting on the phone, not paying, you know, not paying attention to what lies ahead of them, perhaps. It's a, you know, it's a big shock, isn't it? It's a big shock that we see this happening every day in the news, or someone getting stabbed to death. How can we control it? Also, I want to talk about fascism, right? You know, xenophobia, racism, culture. Why is there such a discrepancy amongst culture? You know, it doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're African, doesn't matter if you're Nigerian, doesn't matter if you're Caribbean, doesn't matter if you're white English, doesn't matter where your heritage comes from. Because when you're dead, our skin, if it's black, white, blue, green, we're all just a skeleton. When we're dead and buried for so long, we're just a sack of bones. You think the same, we breathe the same, we eat the same, we wee the same, our human feces come out the same. We're all just human. Does it really matter what race you are? Why is all this animosity build up in the media, in football, especially racism? It needs to stop. We've got the same heart, we've got the same brain. You know, we think the same, we're all the same thinking mechanism. Why is all this racist abuse been shouted upon football, you know, football facilities, all sporting events? basically even in the royal family, supposedly at the moment, which even that it's not racism. You know the animosity built up through not taking a joke, if it was a joke, or maybe it didn't happen, or something was just suggested rather than a hatred comment. You know, the special connection between Meghan Markle and Princess Beatrice engagement ring revealed. Duchess of Sussex and Princess Beatrice both have dazzling engagement rings, but they bear more similarities than you may realise. When you got engaged in 2017, Prince Harry gave Meghan Markle a stunning trilogy ring that boasts a large central diamond from Botswana, where the couple previously vacationed together, flanked on either side by the two small jewels that belonged to his late mother, Princess Diana. The stones were especially selected by Harry, who told BBC hours after they announced their engagement. The ring is obviously yellow gold because that's Meghan's favourite, and the main stone itself are sourced from Botswana, and the little diamonds either side are from my mother's jewellery collection, to make sure that she is with us on this crazy journey together. Similar, the diamonds that take up Princess Beatrice's ring are ethically sourced from Botswana and of the highest colour of clarity. Designer Sean Leanne said hello. Beatrice's boyfriend, Eduardo Mosey, consulted the Mayfair atelier to design a bespoke engagement ring for months before. Diamonds of the Botswana and Princess Diana's collection. The central stone is 2.5 carats round diamond with two baguettes on either side, 3.25 of a carat each. And the ring is hand cast in platinum, the classic. Something that had a little bit of difference to it. That wasn't just a classic that we see everywhere. That's why he came. Princess Beatrice's engagement ring is made up of ethically sourced Botswana diamonds. So basically, what I wanted to do with him, because he had an aesthetic for the Art Deco, and Beatrice has an aesthetic for Victorian. We fused the two and mixed an Art Deco element with Victorian element to the ring, so that there was a fusion of their favourite aspects. Eduardo's choice of a designer is also a favourite of Meghan's, as the former Suits actress has been pictured wearing the British brand's jewellery for several royal appearances in the past. Having a ring specially made, they got, shows you how much money they spent. Some of her favourite pieces include gold vermel talon earring, £250, and the yellow gold vermel serpent's trace bracelet, £550. Considering the multi-millionaires, that's not actually a substantial amount. That's like a middle class family's costly amount, actually. I must say, I won't, I was going to jump to conclusion and say they've spent absolutely substantial amounts of money. But, it is affordable. Not the likes of me and you could afford it, but maybe in a few months' time, perhaps. The building of Proclamation News and Gavin's getting phenomenal sponsors on board to help us produce better quality content. Who knows what's in the pipeline? Who knows what lies ahead of us? But this is what we do day in, day out. I feed you with the updated farm bench politics and the royal family updates and a tiny bit of showbiz. Tom Jones gets an apology from Chris Evans after hosted Awkward Age gaffer. We got it wrong. Sir Tom Jones at 80 was quick to set the record straight on how old he was after Chris Evans, 55, mistakenly declared the Welsh singer is set to celebrate his 82nd birthday this summer. The pair got onto the subject of Sir Tom's age when Chris asked the sex bomb hitmaker about how he stays fit. Not a sort of. He began before Tom interrupted to correct him. Sir Tom replied, well, no. 81 is coming up. I'll turn 81 in June. Thank you all for coming through, supporting Podcast out. Absolutely. Realising his error, Chris explained his comment was badly worded as he meant to say Sir Tom was going to enter his 82nd birthday. Apologising for the blunder, the host exclaimed, "No, sorry, no. You enter your 82nd year is what you meant to say because you're 81." Understanding what Chris meant to say, Sir Tom responded, "Oh, sorry, Chris." Chris then admitted, No, I've got it. I think we both got a little wrong and met halfway in the middle, which is fine." Despite the awkward moment, Chris and Tom, who had known each other for a while, both laughed off their confusion. It comes after Tom recently admitted he was left feeling angry after his doctor issued him a warning about running about on stage at his age. The singer insisted he has no plans to slow down despite going through a health scare recently. The star had an urinary tract infection 2 years ago, which was fortunately cleared up with antibiotics. Recalling his conversation with his doctor at the time, Sir Tom said in an exclusive interview with Saturday's Daily Express newspaper, "The doctor told me you're 78. You shouldn't be running about on stage now, should you?" I was a bit angry at that, I told him, just because it stings when I pee. That's got nothing to do with whether I can sing. I felt great then and I feel great now. I shouldn't slow down. Slowing down is what kills you. However, despite Sir Tom's determination to continue performing for his fans, he also predicted that he's got maybe 10 years left to live. The Welsh singer evolved. The album is called Surrounded by Time because I don't have much of it left. I'd love to think I've got 20 years and that I hit 100. Realistically though, I've got maybe 10 years. I'm looking forward to getting back on stage. And it is a lot easier to think about that since we got the vaccine. Meghan and Harry warned they must prove themselves as honeymoon period is almost over. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry luck over public interest in their exploits, which subsidised royal expert has warned. And in freedom, author Abbey Foundation continued this year. We heard a lot about the initial partnership and the organisations that they'll be working with over the rest of the year. So I think we're going to see a lot of what that time goes by. It will be very interesting to see how they could to work or not to work with the media. Scooby continued, I think they're lucky in a way, no matter what they do, there is a sort of press that's desperate to have every detail. But they will come at a point where they will also have to prove themselves. That honeymoon period was excitement over what they are doing may subside a little. That's when everyone asks, all right, what are the goods? The expert added, we know that they are on the way, but it's just a case of actually seeing them. I don't even think the Invictus series will be the first thing we see from Archwell on Netflix. I don't think there are other things on the way next. I'd like to know what kind of lifestyle they live in their household. Do you reckon they watch TV, sit as a couple, watch TV? You know, do they go and do a bit of archery? What kind of things they do, the royal family? Why are they so significantly different? I know they're part of that aristocracy, you know, their mannerism, the way they hold themselves, got to be very, very, spectacle in front of an audience. They've got to be very, very etiquette and professional. I mean, I like to keep my shows very etiquette in style and pragmatic percent, exactly as them. Pretty much assuming that's the way they live their life. But behind closed doors, how do they live their life? Success is signing a multi-year deal with the US streaming giant Netflix last year. It has now been announced that Harry's Invictus games will be the focus of their first series on the platform. In a statement, the Royal said, since the very first Invictus games back in 2014, we knew that each competitor would contribute in their own exceptional way to a mosaic of resilience, determination and resolve. This series will give communities around the world a window into the moving and uplifting stories of the competitors on their path to the Netherlands next year. As Archwell Productions' first series with Netflix in partnership with the Invictus Games Foundation, I couldn't be more excited for the journey ahead of a proud of the Invictus community and for continuously inspiring global healing. human potential and continued service. State aid cuts, says Nigel Farage. Praises move / foreign aid budget to horrible China. Nigel Farage has welcomed the news for the UK Foreign Office. The taxpayer fund aid to China will be massively reduced. The former Brexit Party leader branded China a horrible communist regime, as he branded that decision to slash aid by 95%. Mr Farage told supporters one of the things I campaigned for a UKIP leader was, why are we giving foreign aid to China? Why are we giving foreign aid to a country that is getting richer and richer? We are giving foreign aid to a country that imprisons every year hundreds of thousands of its own minorities in re-education camps, while overnight the foreign aid budget to China has been cut. It's now down to 900,000 a year. You might say to me, that is 900,000 a year too much, but at least it's a step in the right direction. It comes as Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab announced that a dramatic cut in aid to Beijing will, with the remaining 900,000, embark to support human rights programs. I mean, they are. I mean, you think globalisation is the biggest globalisation coming in, and we're forking out how much money to go into their community. Outlining the move last week, Mr Raab said he strived to ensure that every penny of the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office official development assistance spend brings maximum strategic coherence, impact and value for taxpayers' money. Mr Raab added, we'll focus on the core HMG priorities for poverty reduction, including getting more girls into school, providing urgent humanitarian support to those who need it most, and tackling global threats like climate change, COVID recovery and other international health priorities. The Taxpayers Alliance has welcomed the decision to curb aid spending for China. Media campaign manager Daniel Boxall said slashing foreign aid to China is long and overdue. Hello there, Megumi. Mr Farage said at the end of the day, China is going to become the most powerful and by far the most dangerous country in the world if they continue to get richer and richer. They can particularly get richer and richer if you go on buying the amount of Chinese products that we are. He added, but please, if you want to stop this horrible communist regime, do your best to buy fewer Chinese products. There you go, ladies and gents. How you doing there, Megumi? Thank you for listening on YouTube and Castbox. I'm just doing a half-hour short cast today. I appreciate it will come through. Please share, please subscribe. God bless and take care. Speak soon. Megumi, what's happening?